There is an old tale from Buddhist era. The tale about Kisa Gotami. Kisa Gotami is a mother with her only baby.
Oh, you dear.
As her only child, Kisa Gotami very loved him. But her happiness won't last long.
Kisa means she's skinny. Nothing to do with kissing.
Only someone passed away because of untreated disease. Kisa Gotami very sad as he was orphan and she never felt the loss before. She went away to the town, seeking a help to revive her only child. Somebody, please help a baby. Everybody thinks she was crazy, but found a wise man that recommended her to see Buddha under the Pali tree.
Voice is not
And
clear.
then Kisa went to the Buddha. Buddha is the enlightened one, which Kisa Gotami hoped that the Buddha can revive her child. As Kisa meets the Buddha, she was amazed by Buddha's shining aura. Kisa asked Buddha can revive her child. And the Buddha gave her one condition, her master said, but it was from the still comfort family. Kisa asked the villagers one by one whether he or she still had complete family. But Kisa cannot find someone that never lost their family member.
So she was told to go get some mustard seeds from a family whose relative has not died. She didn't understand the riddle, but she thought it's going to work. She kept looking.
In the end, Kisa learned that there are no still complete family because death was part of life. After she realized, she accepted the truth, and Buddha told her to breathe her child.
Mustard seeds. Can we share? Please all, I was reading so much, so please read for me.
Satami was the wife of a wealthy man of Savatthi. Her story is one of the more famous in Buddhism. After losing her only child, Kisa Gotami became desperate and asked if anyone could help her. Her sorrow was so great that Nina thought she had lost her mind. And the old man told her to see the Buddha. The Buddha told her that he could bring her child back to life if she could find white mustard seeds from a family when no one had died. She desperately went from house to house, but to her disappointment, she could not find a house that had not suffered the death of the family member. Finally, the realization struck her that there was his own house free from mortality. She returned to the Buddha, who comforted her and preached her the truth. She was awakened and entered the first stage of Arahashi. Eventually, she became an Arhat.
Furthermore, this is what we read this morning. Please go ahead.
The following verse is symbolic in English. Associated with the story.
Satam jive apasam namatam padam ekaham jivitam seyo passato amatam padam.
No one should live in their neighbors without seeing the devastation. You better be in a single day. One who sees
Where is it from? Very good. Yeah.
Kisa Gotami declares, I've gotten past the killing of the sons. I've made that the end to search for them. I don't grieve, I don't weep, it's everywhere destroyed. The light, the darkness,
Look at this. This is insightful. Read that, please.
The story is the source of the popular aphorism. The living are few, but the dead are many. A literary tradition has evolved around the story of Kisa Gotami. Much of it in oral form and in local plays in much of Asia. The Devadatta, or verses of the elder mothers in the Pali canon, recounts the beginning of the story. A number of popular, similar, alternative versions also exist.
So as a Pali student, when you find something like this, I think you have all heard this story before because it's that popular. And get the essence of it. And when you find the moment to share this, this may be helpful to someone who is mourning a lost baby, and then say how the Buddha helped her. So there are ways that you can invent to teach something, not teaching directly, not throwing it at them, or life is impermanent, everyone is dying. Instead, to bring them to right mindset, you start finding alternative ways to teach, like the Buddha did. So this shows his skillful way of teaching as well. So teaching is a difficult task, especially when someone is not able to understand. They are not in a stable mindset. So to give them hope is one way. You know, mental illness is one thing that people suffer from. Are these true flowers?
Yes.
Wow. Look, I was sitting here all this time, not even noticing that.
Chrysanthemums. Many chrysanthemums.
Chrysanthemums. What? Chrysanthemums.
You can just call them mums.
Oh, that's why the mums are $20.
Different mums.
Oh, that's what I was asking. So you have mums for sale, mothers for sale. Okay. Good. So we did a lot of readings. So that's another story that's popular. Different people teaching that. The voice of the video didn't come through.
I think you're drowning out.
I wonder if it's dubbed, if it was originally.
There's a book about Kisa Gautami. So, oh, is it a book? No.
It's an audio thing here.
It's a bunch of discourses involving her. And I think
I saw it.
this monk is reading it.
12. The story about the elder nun Kisa Gautami.
Yeah.
The last year and running there, he died and grief arose.
So this is an English monk. His name is Ananda Jyoti. He lived in the monastery where I lived in Sri Lanka, in Kandy. It's a monastery built in the university. So it's a very nature-friendly university. It's a beautiful place. So he lived there. Now he lives in Malaysia. So he has this website called ancientbuddhisttexts.net. And I go there oftentimes to find many ancient texts like grammar texts and original texts and translations. So he has a piece about Kisa Gautami here. And it has all these, her aspiration, her last life. So I'm not sure if we should read this from the beginning. I don't want to go into any deeper discussions because you have been tired already with things that you learned. So this is a painting, Elder Nun Kisa Gautami's story at Wat Pho, Bangkok. So where's the beginning of it? So let's study that. Bunch of people working here, like this is at this end. This is the way they, you put rice to a curry thing called kola, and you start shaking it in a pattern, and then you are able to save white rice or save it, remove stones, or also see the husked rice separated from the white. And this is a hand. It's a mortar. Bunch of kids playing and some people going. This may be the temple because it's a white wall, so they are going to the temple, and others enjoying family life. Teenage girls, like a grandfather, somebody else, maybe sick person watching, and somebody else doing some other things. So here's the Buddha and monks. More monks and lay people, their hands put together means they're listening to the monks. So she's here with the dead baby, right? And the elderly man telling her to go find the Buddha. And the whole, this is representing the town, like people doing different things. And here she is, she went to the Buddha and listened to what the Buddha says, and she goes looking for mustard seeds. She realized that she wouldn't find any, and she threw away the baby and become a nun. So it shows that some of these people who inspire others, even now, are those that suffered weight losses in life. So, and when they lost something like that, they have tendency to seek relief from religious tradition, somebody that they think can guide them. So she went to the Buddha. But because I work in this hospital as a volunteer, I see that there are leaflets like bereavement handbook, bunch of resources guiding people to grieve properly and make arrangements. Sometimes somebody dies suddenly and you are not sure what to do after that. Who to contact and where to go, and those stuff are there. And then there's also a booklet. I did a video on that in my YouTube channel about grieving a family pet. Right, when family pet dies, that's a video I did. It's in there if you go to my YouTube.
I have to show that to my wife. It said I'll have to show that to my wife.
Yeah, so sometimes people are looking for, because someone living in Canada asked me, his bird died and asked, he didn't know what to do after that. Like he's Buddhist and what kind of burial should be done. So they have so much, they even give a surname to their pet, so their own surname given to pets, like admitting them to family. It's rainy. Yay.
So I don't know how much in depth, but it's more of a curiosity, but the elderly who encouraged Kisa to go see the Buddha, did he know what the outcome would be, or did he have beliefs that the Buddha could?
Interesting. This is the video when a family pet dies. Here's the link. I have put the link somewhere. Here. Reading from, this is Victoria Ryan's writing, so let me post one. So this is the leaflet they share, but you need to order that online. It's a beautiful, I didn't want to post it anywhere because it's for sale and it could go in any direction, so it's like me taking credit for something somebody did. So this is, so that elderly man who guided her to the Buddha, and this can be a discussion now, so I don't think he knew the result, but he believed in Buddha being able to do something about it. That nobody else, like everybody ignores her, like she is asking for something crazy, like she's holding a dead body, which is already scary for so many people. Anything dead is something untouchable for many people and they try to stay away. But this elderly man, he thought, he may have listened to the teachings, or someone might think that's a divine messenger, somebody that came to help her to find the path. Sometimes in Buddhist stories you find your former relatives or friends who were with you in heaven come disguised to help you. The Buddha is the only one who can help, like Bahya Sutra. Have you read that? Bahya Sutra?
Yeah, the bark, he just wore the bark cloth.
Yes.
As soon as he got enlightened, he got gorged by it.
Yeah, yes.
Sorry, I ruined the whole thing.
But there's this heavenly being that's guiding, no, you didn't ruin it, that's the story. The heavenly being guiding him to, the story is, well, are we done with this? Okay, let's go to Bahya Sutra. It's something that you should all know. I don't think that. Let's try to see that. I need the story.
The Angulimala with the death thing too, right?
Okay, this one. So the whole story must be on John D. Ireland, translated from Pali by alternative translation Transil. Okay, let's see if we can find it. Everybody quoting the sutra, not just about maybe that. Oh, it's taking me to Facebook. This is Ajahn Braham teaching Bahir.
Recently.
Is it recent?
Yeah, it's
Have you listened to this one?
19 April.
It's now.
He's my favorite to listen to.
Oh yeah.
So,
Huh?
it's funny.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Has 6,000 views.
Namo tassa bhagavata will be merely what is sensed, and that is explained as the smelt and the tasted.
So this is him, and let me share this with you. I think I like it if you can listen to him at some point. He's the monk I have translated to in 2 retreats in Sri Lanka, and he's very wise. An English monk, has a background in theoretical physics from Cambridge University. So I believe he has huge brain capacity, that he has done all that. He taught to students, he taught maths, and then he went to Thailand and practiced under Ajahn Chah, Venerable Ajahn Chah, who guided him to become this monk right now. He belongs to a great lineage of monks like Ajahn Braham, Ajahn Sumedho, Ajahn Amaro, these monks. So, and they are well respected in Sri Lanka and in Asia. And besides, he is also the monk who encouraged us me to translate this book about bhikkhunis, because he supports that women should be ordained and should support Buddhism, and if not, one pillar of Buddhism is missing, he says.
Yeah, there was a big uproar about that.
Yeah, there's a big uproar about that because traditional monks, they want to be labeled that way, believe that there are bhikkhunis are extinct and there's no way it can be reformed. So this is the book I translated.
Was that just in Sri Lanka or is that worldwide, that perception? Theravada.
Do you want to answer that question? Is it worldwide? I don't think it's worldwide.
No. I mean Theravada though.
It's just, you need to know the background of these monks, right? Now there is power dynamics. Thai monks wanting to say they are the superior, and Sri Lankan monks wanting to say their place. And as soon as Sri Lankan monks admit that there are nuns, Thai monks can expel them and say, we are the traditionalists and we are the superior. You see the power dynamics working and affecting nuns. So Bhikkhu Analio wrote this book and asked me to translate it. So I did, here's my name. And then, so these monks, like Ajahn Braham and Bhikkhu Bodhi and Bhante Ji, he's a Sri Lankan monk, Bhante Gunaratana, they all wrote prefaces supporting this book. So, forewords they wrote, and I translated them too. This is because I wanted to support them openly, and when I went to some places, high places in Sri Lanka where these decisions are made, They even told me not to put my name that day because I had taught in those places, and they still, what they believe in conclusion, one of the senior monks said, they wouldn't believe in bhikkhuni ordination unless a bhikkhu becomes transgender, trans woman, and a bhikkhu who is fully ordained becomes a trans woman and still maintains his status. That means it's impossible for it to happen. And this monk, Venerable Analayo, is a prolific writer. He's in his conclusion further below. This is freely available now if you want to read it. He talks about bhikkhunis in Sri Lanka, and there's a concluding. So also bhikkhunis, the transmission to China, the different ordination that took place recently, he talks about that. So he's challenging this idea that bhikkhunis are extinct, and he's giving his reasoning, quoting from the Vinaya. But monks like Tanisaro argues and writes counter pieces arguing with him, and then Analayo responding, and fortunately I didn't have to translate those, but this book is out. And he also did a video explaining about this. He wanted to read it in Sinhalese, so Bhikkhu Analayo did that. And that's what he says is that in one instance the Buddha says, monks, you should ordain nuns. And little later he said, first, these nuns will be embarrassed if you ask certain questions from them, like, are you transgender, are you this and are you that? So don't ask those questions in front of monks. First send them to nuns. Now we have nuns. So direct them to nuns first, and they will ask those questions and then forward them to you. So you do the ordination part. And then there was a time. So now the first rule is still valid at a time when there are no nuns. Means monks, you should ordain nuns. So if you say that there are no nuns, based on that first rule, you can still ordain. Monks have the authority to ordain nuns. Because when the second one came, the first one, the Buddha did not cancel it. It only came as a social need, that there are no nuns anymore. No nuns in the first place, so now there are, so then please ask, send them to these nuns and they will ask those questions and clarify. So that's the history. And he quotes, in different, like nuns are supposed to keep the 8 Garudhammas, and Garudhamma, what's the English for that? I forgot. Grave offenses, right? Yeah, Garudhamma. I should be able to find it here in the book because it's repeated many, many times. He didn't translate.
Garudhamma.
Yeah. Like a major guideline.
Yeah.
See, the 6th Garudhamma, or major guideline laid down for bhikkhuni ordination, requires that the candidate must be ordained by both branches of the monastic community, the Bhikkhu Sangha and the Bhikkhuni Sangha. But when the first nun was ordained, she was told to practice the 6th Garudhamma, which means there were no nuns more than her, like she was the first one, as if the Buddha telling her to do something that cannot be done. This proves that, if you were to logically think, this is like the Buddha is contradicting there. Therefore, Venerable Analayo wants to say that the Buddha was seeing the future, that there will be nuns. So in that case, they should be ordained by both branches. That's why he asked her to keep that as one of the major guidelines she should follow. So that's also another argument, that he has, but I don't remember all the arguments. My brain freezes when I try to translate some of it. Because he's a prolific writer and he uses scholarly language, like Bhikkhu Bodhis, and you don't know to translate for them. Anyway, so you want me to share this? Did I share this book with you?
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. If any friend is interested, we were at Bahi, right? Let's read Bahi. Let's read from Bhikkhu Ananda Jyoti from Sutra Center. Please read for me.
Make a lecture, please.
Yeah.
Better?
Yes, thank you.
Thus I heard, at one time the gracious one was dwelling near Savatthi in Jeta's woods at a monastery. Then at the time Abhaya of the Barber Grove was living near Savarkar on the bank of the ocean, being venerated, respected, revered, honored, esteemed, in receipt of robes, alms food, dwellings, and medicinal requisites for health and safety.
Okay, here's what happened. He was a sailor. He had lots of goods and he wanted to sell them in a different place. So he was shipwrecked and he survived. He somehow landed at this island alone and he lost all his clothes and he had to cover himself with barks, tree barks and branches. And people saw him. Now he has barely anything. People started offering him food, thinking that, oh, this man is so simple, he has abandoned even wearing clothes, he's wearing such simple things like tree barks. And people started respecting him, and because he had no other option, he started accepting that. And he also started meditating a little bit here and there, and he started believing that he's now an arahant, an enlightened one. And his former friend, who was a tree guard where he was living, don't know if this is a tree guard in the translation here, appeared in front of him and said, esteemed, said something esteemed, that he's neither enlightened nor the path to the enlightenment. And he was so ashamed. And he was so inspired by that statement that in one night he just somehow went looking for the Buddha. That's a long distance. It's like going from South India to Northern India. Somehow the distance, it's a miracle how he did that. They say, I don't know, about something like he may have developed some psychic abilities too, or his heavenly friend helped him. So that's the background story. The teachings is amazing here. So let's continue reading and this will be the end. And I'm thinking that maybe I should, well, you have the translation. I should ask you to find the Pali of this and then do a word-by-word translation for the midterm, if that helps. Do you want to work on this sutra?
Sure. Yeah, it's a short one, yeah.
Is it about 1,000 pages?
No, it's this short. It's that. It's a little long.
You want something a little longer, Lee? You can do something a little longer.
I think this is going to be too much for you. Let's find.
What about just what the Buddha says to it?
Yeah, just the teachings, not the whole thing. Okay? Because the teachings matter, not the story. Okay, read. We will pick that later, but please read first. So it may enlarge it.
Then when Bhaya of the Bhagavad had gone into heaven, into seclusion, this reflection arose in his mind. Among those in the world who are worthy ones, or have entered to act the worthiness, I am one of them. Then Devadatta, who was a former blood relative of Bhaya of the Bhagavad, being compassionate and desiring his welfare,
knowing with his mind the reflections of the Bahia of the bark grove, went to the Bahia of the bark grove, and after going, he said that this is the Bahia of the bark grove. You are certainly not the worthy one, Bahia, nor have you entered the path to worthiness. This practice of yours is not one whereby you could be a worthy one, or one that has entered the path to worthiness. Then move out in this world with its devas are worthy ones, or one that entered the path to worthiness. There is Bahia in the northern countries a city by the name of Savatthi. There the gracious one dwells at the present time, who is the worthy one, of perfect Sambuddha. He, Bahia, the gracious one, is certainly the worthy one, and teaches the Dhamma for attaining worthiness. Then Bahia of the bark being greatly moved by that deva, immediately went away from Supsaraka, and staying for only one night in every place, went to Savatthi.
So one night in every place. Okay.
Just as would, and to the Hatha monastery. Then at that time, many monks were walking in meditation in the open air. And then Bahia of the bark went to those monks, and after going, he said this to those monks: where reverence serves is the gracious one living at present, the worthy one, the perfect Sambuddha. We have a desire to see the gracious one, the worthy one, the perfect Sambuddha. The gracious one, Bahia, has entered among us the houses or homes. Then Bahia of the bark grove, having hurriedly left Jeta's grove, and having entered Savatthi, saw the gracious one walking for alms in Savatthi, confident, inspiring confidence, with sense faculties at peace, mind at peace, having attained supreme self-control and calm, controlled, guarded, with restrained faculties, a true Raga. After seeing him, he went to the gracious one, and after going and prostrated himself with his head at the gracious one's feet, he said this to the gracious one: let the gracious one preach the Dhamma to me, reverend sir. Let the fortunate one preach the Dhamma. That will be for my benefit and happiness for all time. After that was said, the gracious one said this to Bahia of the bark. It is the wrong time for you, Bahia. We have entered among the houses for alms. For a second time, Bahia of the bark grove.
So yeah, I'm skipping that part because that's the same thing for the third time also.
In that in what is seen, there must be only what is seen. And what is heard, there must be only what is heard. And what is sensed.
Oh, stop. Here's the place to begin.
Said this to the gracious one, but it is hard to know, reverend sir, the dangers of the gracious one's life, or the dangers to my life. Let the gracious one preach the Dhamma to me, reverend sir. Let the fortunate one preach the Dhamma. That will be for my benefit and happiness for a long time. In that case, Bahia, you should train yourself thus. In what is seen, there must be only what is seen. In what is heard, there must be only what is heard. In what is sensed, there must be only what is sensed. In what is cognized, there must be only what is cognized. This is the way, Bahia.
you should train yourself. And since for you, Bahia, in what is seen there will be only what is seen. In what is heard there will be only what is heard. In what is sensed there will be only what is sensed. In what is cognized there will be only what is cognized. Therefore, Bahia, you will not be with that. And since, Bahia, you will not be with that. Therefore, Bahia, you will not be in that. And since, Bahia, you will not be in that. Therefore, Bahia, you will not be here or hereafter or in between the two. Just this is the end of suffering.
Then,
Through the gracious one's brief teaching of his Dhamma, Bahia of the bark grove's mind was immediately freed from the pollutions without attachment. Then the gracious one, having advised Bahia of the bark grove with this brief advice, went away. Then, not long after the gracious one had gone, a cow with a young calf, having attacked Bahia of the bark grove, deprived him of his.
well, he was not wearing normal clothes, and the cow must have been frightened seeing.
He had mad cow disease.
Yeah. Okay.
Then the gracious one, after walking for alms in solitude, while returning from the alms round after the meal, after going out from the city with many monks, saw that Bahia of the bark grove had died. After seeing him, he addressed the monks, saying, "Monks, take up Bahia of the bark grove's body, and after putting it on a bier, carry it away and burning it, make a memorial mound for him, your fellow in the spiritual life, monks has died." "Yes, Reverend Sir," said those monks, and after replying to the gracious one, putting Bahia of the bark grove's body on a bier, carrying it away, burning it, and making a memorial mound for him, they went to the gracious one, and after going and worshiping the gracious one, they sat down on one side. While sat on one side, those monks said, "Is this the gracious one? Burned, Reverend Sir, it's Bahia of the bark grove's body, and a memorial mound for him has been made. What is his destination? What is his future state? A wise man, monks, was Bahia of the bark grove, who practiced Dhamma in accordance with the Dhamma, and did not trouble me on account of the Dhamma. Completely emancipated monks is Bahia of the bark grove." Then the gracious one, having understood the significance of it, on the occasion uttered this exalted utterance: "In the place where water, earth, fire, and wind find no footing, there the stars do not shine, nor does the sun give light. Their gloom does not glow, their darkness is not found. And when the sage, the Brahmana, has experienced Nirvana through his own sagacity, then from both form and formless, happiness and suffering, he is free." This exalted utterance was also said by the gracious one, so I have heard.
So exalted utterance means Udan. So there is a section in the canon with only the exalted utterances. This story of Bahia is found in under Udanas. So this is in the 5th Nikaya, Khuddaka Nikaya, like small text section. You have 15 texts, and Udana is one of the 15 texts. Okay. And no, I'm not giving this for your midterm test because I find that here sometimes past participles are also there and we haven't discussed that yet. You might if you want to do it. Yeah, and you may tell me like, oh, we didn't understand any of that, but we did the word for word translation because we thought this matches this, but that's not the way to do it. Instead, I will ask you to do another exercise from the series of exercises we did for the midterm, if that helps, right? So that way, which one you want to pick? Shall we pick that tomorrow? Yeah. Not today, so I want you to sleep well tonight. Okay, thank you and good night.